All right, I have a Feisol CT3442. Not sure if you say it Feisol or Feisol, so I'm covering my bases. With a Photoclam head on it, and I'm not sure the model, so I'll make sure when I write it in the description it'll be on there. One of the guys on the forum sent me this because a bunch of us went to the trade show in New York and looked at different tripods and ended up buying what we liked. My camera is actually on my Enduro CT313, which I will review shortly. So look for a review of that as well. But I went for the biggest, heaviest carbon legs I could get, and one of the guys on the board went for the most compact, travel-friendly tripod you can get. And I will say, my immediate impression of this is it's actually a very nice, compact travel setup. So there's definitely nothing wrong with this. But let me just show you a few things that I've noticed just in the week I've had it kicking around with me. The first thing is, the tripod manufacturers call this joint where the legs come together the spider. And being that it's a travel setup, you see the heads, everything's inverted, so in the length of the legs, you have the head and everything self-contained, so it's as small as possible, folded up to go in your bag. So when you look at the spider, they basically design it so the legs can go 180, which is very cool. Now, when I'm walking around to shoot with a tripod, I often carry it by one leg. And now you can already see it. It's just opening up. Now that's all a matter of the tension on this bolt right here. I'm not sure if you can adjust that because this isn't my tripod. I'm not going to go tweaking it. But the fact it just opens as you hold any one leg, it just bugs me. That's how I carry my tripod as I'm walking around, and it opens. So as I've been carrying this, I carry it by the end, or I hold two legs like that. I know, very nitpicky. But so let me just show you how these work really quick, because it's actually pretty cool. You just take a leg and you open it all the way up like that. There's a little lever here that, as I was doing it, spring loaded, it was clicking past the click stops. You open it back up. Do that on 3 sides, and you now have a tripod. And then the column's up because that's how it gets the shortest to be put away. If it wasn't up, this would stick down here and it wouldn't be short to travel. So you definitely, when you shoot, I would recommend lowering that to shoot. So that's the first step. And then this is another just preference issue. 3 locks. I go with 2 locks on my legs because it's 50% locks to use every time. And then I know with this tripod, it's an option whether these spin or not. This tripod does not have that option. I would probably pay the extra money to get that, because as you go down the leg sections, if you go from the bottom up, you'll get them all out. But then when you go to push on it, if you didn't get any tight, you don't know it until this point. And then when you go the other way, see how right now I can't loosen this because I just loosened that one. So until this is tight, you can't go downhill from there. So, and again, with that one loose, you cannot adjust this leg, and the whole thing spins downstream, both of these. You can't adjust either one until this is tight. So that's just, it just makes it more difficult to work with a tripod. And that's, like I said, it's an option. They will let you get a set that don't do that. So I would definitely recommend that upgrade. But yeah, it's, for a travel tripod, it's light. I put them on the scale. In the write-up, I'll actually write the weights. I think my head combo is 5 pounds, 5.5 pounds, and this was 4. It's basically 1.5 pounds lighter, and with the center column, it's just as tall as my Enduro. So it's a nice tall setup. It's a light setup, and with the trick, you have to push this up, lock that down, and then you just press the levers and rotate it up. Press the lever, rotate it up. It gets very short. And then you can see that's the one other tricky part, especially because the center column rotates. When you go up, you have to get it in the right orientation so the legs line up there. So that's where you got to get the knobs on either side of a leg to make it perfectly small. So that's where, I don't know if the center column can be non-rotating or not, but that's another, it's just a trick. It's just, you're going to fidget with it a little bit. And I know this is, the center column's actually an option. You can pop this plate out and put the head right here. But if you, I noticed, I don't know how much switching the plate out does with that. But when the head's down here by the foam, the legs don't actually want to close up quite as well. They're bigger around, which would probably be the same case if that was all the way down. So it's almost like it gets more compact with the center column all the way up, because you're up in here like that. So I would probably get the center column just for the height, and use it sparingly. I would highly recommend you get these that they don't rotate, but it's a very impressive, light, small travel tripod. And I was quite impressed with it. I didn't think I would be. So if you're looking for something that's really short when it's packed up and really light and a carbon set of legs, it's a nice set of legs. I should probably mention the head too, because this is a head I'm not used to. I'm a big Acrotech fan because I shoot out around the ocean and sand all the time, and I like to be able to literally wash my head off. And you can see here, it'll be hard to see from that far away, but the ball's enclosed, and I can just see gaps for sand to get in there from here. So if you're in a really sandy environment, I know I beat a dead horse with my Acrotech preference, but this would be hard to wash off. But if that's not an issue, this is a very nice head. It's got one knob to set your drag. It's very smooth. When you lock it down, it is rock solid. There's no issue at all with that. It's got a nice head on it, or clamp. It does have the button press with the indent pin, so that when it's on there, let's see if I can get it back on there. There we go. It's loose. It can't slide off until you hit the pin. Then it comes off. Some people love that. I personally don't. I do have some preferences in my setup. I love lever clamps, not screw clamps, and I hate indent pins because they slow you down. But it's a nice safety step if you want it. You can also switch this off for any sort of clamp you want, so that's personal preference again. The red is very nice looking. Kind of an attention grabber maybe, but it's a tripod and we're out using them in the middle of nowhere, so who cares? And it's a nice looking color. So quite impressed. I didn't think I would be, honestly. But it's a nice carbon setup, and like I said, that's probably my biggest complaint with it right there. But it's light, it's small, it's very compact, and it's very stiff. I know one thing that was mentioned to me before is when these are all the way out, if you test the deflection test, which basically set up like that and just push on it, and like in the head, they will flex a little bit, especially with all the legs out, but it's not a whole lot different than my Enduro or my Gitzo was in practice. And you can, right there, you can see the deflection a little bit. When you use the skinniest leg, you have 3 clamps going, you have 4 sections going, there's gonna be some deflection. But when you stand it up and use 3 legs, it's not bad at all. This will definitely hold an SLR without any problem. So, overall impressed. I'm not selling my tripod for one anytime soon, because I'll deal with flying with one mine's literally that much longer collapsed. But if you want compact, small, in your tripod, this is definitely an option to look into seriously. It's a very nice tripod. So this is Ben Jacobson for Ben Jacobson Photo and New School Photography and again, I'm not quite sure how you say it. It's either Feisol or Feisol, carbon CT3442. I hope this helped.